Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fantasy Sports Island. I got my boy Johnny Ballgame here with me tonight.
Let's do this.
What's going on, Johnny? How you doing?
Man, I am so awesome, brother. How are you? Look at me. I got tropical sea. I got the palm tree impact, sand. God,
amazing.
Be better at
Amazing.
Tony's basement.
Speaking of Tony, Sir Poops a Lot is here as well.
What's up? I gotta go see what I can dig out of my basement. I probably got a few dudes locked down there.
Dude, you don't want to know what they were digging in my basement for today. So Daddy had a little colonoscopy today, but good news, I'm a healthy man. Here I am. I'm still on the show, loopy as hell, but ready to go. We got a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about what just happened this crazy week of playoff football. Insanity. How did we do in our leagues this week, gentlemen, by the way? Johnny, how'd you do?
Good. Not as good as Tony, but second place so far. Not too bad. Yeah.
Tony, tell the group who you had.
It comes down to one guy. The rest of my team sucked. It was Mahomes. And the way this league, the way the point system works, Mahomes got like 105 points or something like that. So that's the only reason I'm in first.
Good Lord.
Wait till he doesn't throw 5 TDs. I'll be in last place.
All right. Well, tonight we have a couple of fantasy rants, of course, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But the first thing we want you to do is hit that like button. Smash that button up. It's good for the YouTube algorithm, helps pump our video stats up, and we'll get them out there for people to see. If you like the content, you're going to subscribe so that you can watch anytime we put out a new video. And if you want to get notified of when we do this, it's basically every week, but in the future, hit that notification bell. It'll let you know every time we release our videos. All right, now that we've talked the business, let's talk some fun, let's talk some football, and let's start with some fantasy rants. What do you think, fellas?
Do that.
Let's do it.
Fantasy Rants.
All right, John, you always start us off with the fantasy rants, so let's not break tradition. I know you got one for me this week. Let it rip, brother.
Can we just talk a minute about instant replay? Just a second. Just with the technology today, we can see if a blade of grass moves, but we can't get some of these calls right. Like, there should not be any call now, any rule, any penalty that can't be overturned and overturned quickly. The fact that we watch replay on TV and hear the announcers all saying, well, this is how it should be. And we're all like, yep, this is absolutely how it should be. Look at the video. It's so obvious. And then someone comes back and goes, nope, it's the exact opposite. No rhyme or reason. It's just inexcusable. I don't get it. I'm going to say it again. At some point, common sense has to come into play. I don't
know about that.
I will say the whistle play with Cincinnati. I thought they got it right, but I hate that they lied to us about why it was right. Don't tell us that the whistle happened after the play. It didn't. We're all not stupid. The whistle actually went before the ball hit his hands. Now, the defense stopped well before the whistle because they thought that Joe went out of bounds. So I don't think that the play shouldn't have been a touchdown. But just don't lie to us. It's like the NFL went, who are you going to trust, us or your own eyes and ears? It's just absolutely insane to me. But I do like the way that the booth can call down. They can immediately change the call. And that works so well. I don't know why we do it more often. And that way, some of these stupid penalties that they're calling that aren't penalties would actually not be penalties. We just got too much technology available. Continue to let bad calls and bad replay watching ruin our games. That's just been what's on my mind lately. Now, let's ask the YouTube group. We should have people comment about this. How do you feel about the refereeing this week? And the replay and all that bullshit. So make sure you give us some comments. We want to read them.
Please.
Yeah, and I want to add to that just a little bit. College football, the NCAA has it down.
Yeah.
They don't depend on the ref to go to the little booth and listen and watch the video. They have a guy in New York or wherever he is watching every play, and he makes a decision within probably 30 seconds. They let the refs know and they move on. Now, why can't the NFL do this? What are we doing?
I don't get it. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. And when they do it sometimes, like you see them, they're like listening and they're like, oh, after discussion on the field, the call is actually this. So they can do it. They've got the technology. They do it. They literally do it sometimes. Why not all the time? And how can you get so many wrong even after you go and look?
I have another quick thing, real quick. Why do the refs have to over-explain everything as well? There'll be a play where a quarterback will run out of the pocket. He's about to get sacked. He throws the ball away. It gets past the line of scrimmage. We all know it's not intentional grounding. And they don't throw a flag. But yet the refs will get on their little mics and tell the crowd, there is no flag for intentional grounding because the player was outside the pocket. And do we need an explanation? There was no penalty. Let's just play.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Yeah. They're telling us when there are penalties and when there aren't penalties. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. It's insulting. It's insulting to the fans. I mean, I go to get my information immediately off of Twitter because people on their iPhones are giving me a better viewpoint than these damn cameras on the field. But overall, yeah, I can't believe that they can sit there and be like, okay, let's give the fans the details here. And then the next play, we got the details on camera, and they don't want to really explain it properly. They want to lie, like you said. It's like, yeah, it's just very insulting.
It was.
Totally agree. All right, Tony, your turn to rant. I know you also have a rant this evening. What do you got?
Mine are kind of minor because there wasn't a ton of games. So for once, I'm not entirely losing my mind, especially since the Bengals won. But I am not real impressed with the running games this week. I think a lot of these teams did not. They needed to run the ball more, and that was really frustrating to me. I don't understand what some of these teams were doing. It's like, dude, in the playoffs, man, pound that ball right now. Some of those cold games, and they weren't handing it off. So yeah, it's a minor rant for me. That was just personal. But other than that, I actually had a good week because, like I said, the Bengals won. So I'm not going to go into too much ranting.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll do my little mini rant, and I'm sure we all have the same freaking rant. But offensive coordinators are dumb. Sometimes quarterbacks are dumb too. And I'm talking specifically about the Cowboys game and how it ended. They have the ball, no timeouts. They keep getting these little 5-10-yard passes and getting out of bounds to stop the clock. They're setting themselves up for the ultimate, last play of the game, Hail Mary situation or whatnot. So they're trying to get as close as possible. They finally get it down to 15, 16 seconds, no timeouts. And they call a quarterback run up the middle. I don't know if
No timeouts.
No timeouts. I don't know if the coordinator called that, coach, or Dak just did something on his own. But he runs the ball right up the middle, gets tackled. They have to, obviously the ref has to touch the ball before they play. All right. Now the ref did not do a good job of this, by the way. I think if the ref would have grabbed the ball real quick and set it down and just let it go, they might have gotten the playoff. Maybe. But let's not blame the refs here. It was a stupid call with no timeouts. What the hell did you think was going to happen? At the very least, what did we gain? 10 yards on that play, so we're 10 yards closer to the end zone versus maybe we could have had 2 plays at the end zone if we hadn't done that stupid play call. I don't get it. Johnny, what do you think?
I'm with you, man. It was, and I blame Dak entirely because you as a quarterback, you got to know how much time's on that. And you got to get that ball and you got to turn around and hand it to that referee, make sure that referee has it. It was so poorly executed. Run 5 yards and slide to stop so that everybody catches up, gets there. He ran 10 yards. He's like, well, I didn't know I was going to get hit from behind. You had a good idea. It's called football. People, you're in the middle of the field.
You have the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how to tell you this, Sparky, but you're going to get hit. So, I'm with you.
And the pointing of the fingers too. Nobody was really manning up after that game. It was all like, well, this happened, that. I'm like, okay. But overall, you ran for 14 yards or whatever it is with, no time left. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
Not to mention the Cowboys had about 14 penalties and 10
They were terrible.
It's just garbage. It's garbage.
They were terrible. I just gave this big giant rant about giving coaches a chance. And what did I text you guys this weekend? I want McCarthy gone.
McCarthy's fired. Yeah.
I know that's true.
It was a terrible job of coaching. It was horrible. It was the unprepared team for a playoff game. That team has too much talent to be wasted on that kind of bullshit bush league coaching.
And how do you guys see their
Run
future?
it back next year. Let's run it back, everybody. Come on.
Well, the offensive coordinator Moore might be gone though. He's currently looking at coaching positions elsewhere, so they might be moving on from the offensive coordinator. Although I thought he was pretty decent most of the year.
He was.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about Dak. He concerns me a little bit, and I hope this isn't going to be a big breakdown for him. But I've changed my opinion. At the beginning of the season, I was like, this guy's money, and now I'm going, oh, he makes me nervous.
Me too.
Do you remember the acronym I texted you for Dak?
Oh yeah.
Dumb ass kid after that play. That was dumb. That was terrible.
Terrible.
It was
Terrible.
News and notice around the NFL.
All right. News and notes around the NFL. We're going to talk about a few things real quick. We're going to power through this, and then we're going to move on. First of all, the Seahawks have fired defensive coordinator Ken Norton. Now, of all the people that we thought they were going to move on from in Seattle, it wasn't Ken Norton.
Was not Ken Norton.
I mean, the coach, Pete Carroll's still there. Russell Wilson's still there. At some point, one of the others got to go, right, John?
Yeah, I heard again the other day, Russell's talking about wanting to explore his options. It's like annual. You know what? I got to tell you, Russ didn't play that well for me this year. I don't really care what Russ does at this point. I'm kind of over it. Kind of over the whole thing. I like Pete Carroll still, but I mean, you know, he's what, 78, 90 years old? I don't know how old he is now, but
70, I think.
is it time to maybe move on? I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm not real concerned either. I mean, if Russell goes to like a major contender and it is kind of exciting or something, I'll pep up. But after the season, it's like all right. It's almost kind of like old news. Well, let's just wait and see what they do. I don't really care.
Do you think Seattle's going to be any good next year?
If they stay the way they are now?
Yeah. Like, I have no confidence they're going to get any better than they were this year.
They, because of the injury, they may have, 2 more wins because, Russell missed some time. But other than that, how much more improved are they going to be if they stick with the situation they are? Maybe their running game will be a little bit better. Less injuries. I don't know. But, nothing significant.
The old adage is when coaches stay too long, people on their team stop listening to them, even though they might be a good coach or not. And Pete Carroll is a good coach, but I don't think his team's listening to him anymore. I think his word is stale. They need a fresh start. I think if they were smart, they would stick with Russell Wilson and fire Pete Carroll and move on and get a new fresh blood in there, see if he can rejuvenate the team in general. I think they need to let Russ cook more and less running game, because I think the emphasis on the last 2 years has been anti-quarterback and more towards the running game, and that irritates Russell Wilson. And we've seen what Russell Wilson can do when they let him loose. The first half of last year, he was amazing. And John, I know we didn't think Russ was good this year. He really wasn't, but a lot of that probably had to do with the broken finger, don't you think?
Yeah, it probably did. I think they probably rushed him back from that. And he rushed himself back from that. Also, I thought Rashard Penny actually played really well down the stretch.
Great.
I think there was a lot of breakdown in that team. I don't think the defense – I kind of get why they fired Ken Norton. The defense was not near what it used to be. Now, granted, I don't think they gave him the players that he used to have. But, it'd be what it be.
The Josh Adams, the trade for him was terrible. They gave up 2 or 3 first-rounders for him. He's not a good coverage guy. He's a hitter, but, you need more than that if you're going to give up that much capital. So, and that was Pete Carroll who made that decision. So, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say about this. Speaking of firings, the Raiders have fired GM Mike Mayock. I mean, it was coming, right? He's the guy that hired John Gruden. Mm-hmm. Half his players got into trouble legally or, were released for this or that. I mean, it was a disaster in Oakland.
It was a disaster.
And someone had to go, and it was Mike Mayock.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's speak a little injuries here. Jimmy Garoppolo suffered a shoulder sprain in that win.
What? He's injured?
Jimmy G's hurt? No. That guy's Superman. Tony, Does this affect at all the way the Niners play the game? Is this going to have any effect next week?
I would imagine so. I think he's kind of. I mean, that's all they got right now. I mean, obviously we like his backup. I like that kid, but he needs some time. So, but are they going to be able to get past the next round with a healthy Jimmy G? I don't think so, man. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything.
Oh, I do. I
don't know why. I just don't. I understand that they're hot right now. They are playing fairly well. I will agree with you, but I think they're going to fail. That's maybe more of a gut.
Well, they have the Bucks. Yeah.
What's that?
They have the Bucks.
Right.
So it's a tough matchup.
Right.
Oh.
But I
49ers? I thought they played Green Bay.
Oh, they do. No, the same
They
thing.
play Green Bay.
Yeah, they play Green Bay, so they got a little bit easier defense. Yeah.
By the way, Aaron Rodgers was 0-3 against San Francisco.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're in Green Bay. That's my mistake. Yeah. So either way, it's a tough matchup. But the 49ers can run the ball. They don't turn the ball over, and they play some freaking defense right now. And they're healthy. They got healthy at the right time. I think they got a shot.
I'll say this. You can argue that they're actually better built for the game in Green Bay than Green Bay's built for the game in Green Bay.
Interesting.
You think about it. Interesting, right? Hard-nosed defense, great
I
run.
see what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And granted, they got Dylan on Green Bay, but Aaron Jones isn't really that Green Bay cold weather running guy. I like San Francisco in this game. I think there could be an upset here.
But without Jimmy, I mean, they got to. What do you think? They're just going to run the ball? Not that it's bad.
I think Jimmy's going to play.
I think he will too, but he's beat up
to get his ass out there because
all they need is Debo.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Good news. Cardinals safety Buda Baker will make a full recovery after being carted off the field with that monster hit he took from Cam Akers. Jeez Louise.
Scary.
It was a concussion, but he's going to be all right, so that's good news. Bad news is Arizona sucked balls. What the hell happened? Tony, what happened?
Oh, my God. That's the one topic. I don't even know where to go with this. I mean, okay, to be honest, since week 8 or so, that team hasn't really been the same. I mean, they came out like gangbusters, so they haven't really been the same, but they looked like absolute amateurs. There was not really any. Was there any bright side to that team at all? Like, did you see anything? You were like, oh, well, that looks good. I mean, dude,
no.
I don't even know what to say. They just looked and performed that poorly. Even the coaching, it was just weak all the way through. It was really, really disappointing.
We had a couple of those this week, but we're going to get to those in just a minute. Last piece of news here, and this is for you, John. Derrick Henry practicing full pads today.
D-Hen.
A go. Do you think the Titans are on a Super Bowl run now?
I don't know, because I'll tell you what, the Bengals are playing as well as anybody is playing. I thought they could have played better in the last game, but I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call for those guys. I am worried, though, their one defensive lineman that I can't pronounce that guy's last name, but he was awesome, is going to be out now. And then Hendrickson is still in concussion protocol. Is it Hendrickson?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hendrickson is, yeah.
Yeah. So, man, probably. I think the Titans are. I hate to say it, but I think the Titans might win.
No.
Next. I don't know if they're going to get past Buffalo, but it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think the Bengals defense has been decent. Let's say you even bring back, or you have those two healthy guys. One guy's I can't pronounce his name either. He got hurt. Let's even put those two guys on the line, and let's say Henry is at 50%, and you mix in, Foreman and Hilliard. I personally feel that the Bengals are going to have a rough time stopping the run.
Yeah,
I really do. And that breaks my heart to say that, but we've seen the defense give up some runs and some big rushing games in the past. Again, the past few weeks, they've been really good at stopping the run. I think it's going to change this weekend. I hate to say that.
And you guys were talking about Ogunjobi, right?
Ogunjobi, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it came to me, but Ogunjobi.
I always want to call him Okeechobee, and I know that's not right. So.
Okay.
Super Mega Ultra Wild Card Weekend Review.
Let's review what happened in the first round of the playoffs, the Super Mega Ultra Wild Card Weekend, whatever the hell the NFL's calling it these days. Let's just run through the games real fast. Just quick thoughts on what you thought of the games. First one that we're going to review. Let's take a look here. The Bengals over Vegas in a tight matchup. 26-19, Bengals win. John, what did you think of this game? Did the Bengals impress you and how they played? And what do you expect going forward?
I thought the Bengals looked great in the first half. I thought the Bengals looked like crap in the second half. I think the injuries on defense mounted up, and I'm a little nervous about them going into Tennessee, just like Tony was talking about. Joe and Jamar, and they did it all without T. T, had 2 catches maybe? You best Chuck, sorry. He's on your team, so it was a rough week. Uzoma looked pretty good, so it was nice that they used their tight end, but we know that we can't count on that. So Raiders probably were just out of steam. I mean, they had to play their way in, had an emotional game the last week. So congratulations for the Bengals. 31-year drought ends. I'm not sure we're going to get another win this week as much as I like the Bengals.
All right, let's go to the next game. Buffalo Bills destroyed the New England Patriots 47-17. Josh Allen goes for 308 and 5 touchdowns. He also added some rushing yards as well. He did not turn the ball over. I mean, basically, I thought this was the best game he's ever played. It was a complete annihilation of New England. The running game was working, the passing game, the defense. Buffalo looks good, Tony. What do you think?
They look amazing. I didn't expect them to do that well. I did pick them to win. I didn't expect a blowout like that. For personal reasons, it felt good. I mean, I respect Belichick, but I did not want to see the Patriots go any farther. But You're right, dude. You're right. Josh Allen looked damn near absolute perfect. Like perfect. Great game.
It's the kind of game that makes you look next year and go, man, Josh Allen, maybe he should be the top quarterback taken. He was really dominant.
Yep.
Yeah, and what have I said about Buffalo all year? They play up to their competition. It's playoff time. I would be scared out of my mind if I was anybody playing Buffalo right now.
Yep.
And everything is going to go through Buffalo.
Yep.
All right, the next game we're going to check out is the Tampa Bay game. It was the Bucs 31, Philadelphia 15. Pretty easy game all the way around. They dominated. The Eagles got a couple late scores that were meaningless. Tom Brady did his thing. Mike Evans was huge. The running game was working despite Leonard Fournette not playing. John, what did you think overall of the Tampa Bay performance?
Tom Brady's Tom Brady. I mean, that guy's a machine. I honest to God think he made a deal with the devil. There's no other explanation for it. He looks fantastic for his age, playing his best ball probably. It's unreal. I mean, it's not right. The TB12 must be Tony Brooks 12. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, it is.
12 stands for. No, I thought it was a great game for them. And I will say this, both teams that were the 7th seed, which we've never had that 7th seed in on both sides, sucked balls and shouldn't have been in the playoffs. They were both awful. It was terrible. Those were both the worst games that we had. And it makes me go, you know what? I almost missed the 2 bye weeks or you know what I mean? The way we used to do it. I thought they were terrible. I thought the Eagles shouldn't have been in there, and neither should the Steelers. We'll get to that game.
All right, let's talk a little Niners-Cowboys. We've touched on this game about the dumb play at the end of the game, but the Niners win this game 23-17. Debo did Debo things, 10 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Also added 3 catches for 38 yards. And the threat of Debo seemed to open up the running game for guys like Elijah Mitchell. They dominated most of the game. The Cowboys made a late run of it, had a chance at the very end, blew it, of course. Tony, what do you think for the Cowboys? Is the end of, like, I want to know fantasy-wise next year. Are we drafting Ezekiel Elliott high? Are we still confident in Dak? CeeDee Lamb was a bust at the end of the year. He came up small in this game. What do you think? What are your overall thoughts?
No, there's no bright spots. I mean, you even look at Pollard. Like, what happened to Pollard? They were using him. There's so much talent on that team. So here's the thing. Can we group that team together and blame all that talent? Pollard, Zeke. I know Zeke had a decent season. The wide receiver core, the quarterback, so much talent. And when you have that much talent, there's usually the issue is usually up top. So is there a coaching issue? Is there something internal that we don't know about? I don't really know. But until we figure that out, I am not going to draft those guys as high as I did this season. They're just not going to be at the top. I'm not taking Dak in the top 5, stuff like that. Let's see what happens over the summer. I'm curious to see what's going on.
He regressed. I thought Dak regressed this year. I thought
he did. I didn't think it was going to happen, though. He looked amazing.
We expected big things from Dak, and in week 1 he came out and completely dominated. And we thought, oh boy. And then after that, he was just kind of mediocre. And when they needed
weird.
him,
He broke the team record for touchdowns. We're still like, it was a crap year.
Yeah, I mean, other than the week 18, fuckery where the Eagles didn't play anybody and he lit them up for 5 touchdowns. Other than that game and the first game of the season, he was just average all the way through. It was an interesting season for him. And when they needed him most, he came up small in this playoff game, made the dumb call to run it up the middle at the end. I don't know. I don't know what to think about the Cowboys. I think it's coaching. I don't have any other reasoning. And for Zeke, I want to give Zeke a little bit of credit here because he did play with the torn MCL, I believe he said. He played through that all season, most of the season, and that's why he wasn't the same. And that's a big thing for the Cowboys.
Let me ask you guys a question. Would you let Quinn walk and keep McCarthy? Dan Quinn is a high.
I don't think so.
Now. I would keep Dan Quinn. I think the team respects him. The defense looked freaking amazing this year. I would keep Dan Quinn. I'd let McCarthy go. I'd make Dan Quinn the head coach, and I'd move on with my life. And I'd probably keep Kellen Moore. I'd just have him, because he's a good mind. He's got to figure out a way to control it sometimes.
I agree. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs against the Steelers. Joke. Another joke. The 7 seeds just didn't show up to play. Kansas City wins 42-21. Patrick Mahomes throws for 404 yards, 5 touchdowns and a pick. And Jerick McKinnon comes through. No one expected that. We'll talk about McKinnon later. But I just want to get your overall thoughts, John, on what you saw in this game.
Chiefs look good. From about the second quarter on, they started slow again. It was what 7-0 or something like that. The defense for Pittsburgh scored, and it was like that throughout pretty much the first quarter. And then it was all of a sudden 21-7 going into halftime. So Chiefs look good. Chiefs starting to hit on all cylinders. I think their defense is playing well, but Pittsburgh had no business being in the playoffs.
They didn't.
Nah, they backed in, and you know what? The NFL needs to reconsider that 7th seed. It did not fare well for them. Although more teams were involved at the end, which was exciting. The ones that made it.
It was good for fantasy purposes.
Yeah. They didn't show up in the playoffs. That's for sure.
I would like to say this. Good luck to you, Big Ben. Congratulations. Thank you for all the years of messing with our brains and making us think you were going to be amazing, and then you were just not as great from a fantasy perspective. But you had an amazing career, 14 years out of the University of Miami of Ohio, for God's sake. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So just congratulations.
Hey, look, I know I divorced with Big Ben, but we're still friends. We're still friends. Big Ben over the years was fantastic for me in fantasy football. I don't know how many years in a row, Tony can vouch for me, that I took Ben late in the draft, and he got me lots of fantasy points. This was the first year where he really disappointed, but it was his swan song, just like Drew Brees the year before. This was it. These guys were done. They knew it, and, they're gone. And it's sad. I mean, I grew up with Drew Brees and Peyton Manning and Ben Roethlisberger. And when Tom Brady finally retires, it's going to be a sad day. Yeah.
It just shows how old you are.
Wasn't he the last of one of the greatest quarterback classes ever? Right? Wasn't that Eli and Phillip Rivers?
Yeah.
Ben, and there's a couple more guys in there. That was a fantastic quarterback class.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I would have really liked to see, they're never going to do this, but I would rather see a different type of wild card matchup. I mean, the Steelers should have been playing like the Eagles. It's like they were more evenly matched. As a matter of fact, they should be playing this week. They should make those two losers play, and they should make the Cardinals play the Cowboys.
The loser bowl.
Consolation bracket, nice.
Yeah.
And I did see one comment on that Chiefs game. Chiefs start, a lot this year. Start off slow.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be their one downfall. And if that
Buffalo's going to jump on them.
yeah, if the right team is able to get 2 or 3 touchdowns against them, by the middle to end of the first half or whatever, Chiefs could be in trouble. And that's what
Yeah, because the Chiefs are not as explosive as they used to be. They're much more controlled, dink and dunk.
Yeah, taking them time to warm up. Yep.
I'm with you.
Speaking of teams never warming up, how about the Arizona Cardinals? They go into LA and get fucking trounced, 34-11. It was never really a game. Kyler looked terrible. John, I know you're going to want to comment on this.
Who did?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
Kyler
ahead.
did? Oh, it's so weird. I wonder who. I feel like somebody at the beginning of the year said Kyler is not going to be a great quarterback this year and will choke towards the end of the season, starts out hot and then gets bad. Did anybody say that on this?
No.
Like,
I never.
No, not on this show. No, that's bullshit. No one said that.
oh, you know who said it? Right here. Johnny Ballgame's gut. That's right. Told you he was going to suck toward the end of the
So
year. He did.
who's worried about Kyler and Lamar Jackson next year? Do you guys view them to be top 5? Either one of them?
I'm not taking either of those bastards top 5. Lamar.
Probably not.
Lamar
I think
hurt
Lamar's
me.
in trouble.
He hurt me this year.
I think Kyler's codependent on that wide receiver.
Hopkins.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. So without him, he's definitely below average, as he showed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played like Easy E towards the end of the year. I always say he looks like Easy E, but he played like big.
Are you saying he had AIDS, John?
I'm not. I am in no way.
That's terrible.
That
That's
Kyler
terrible.
Murray has AIDS. I am saying that he looks like a lollipop with a big giant cranium on that little tiny body running out. Looks like a peewee football player.
It looks like a Pez dispenser.
It does. You expect some candy to shoot out of his neck.
He's fast though.
He
Yeah,
is
he's
Not, he
but
can run.
I'll tell you what, they learned how to contain him this week, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
God, the Ravens.
Or did.
Fantasy Heroes and Zeros.
All right, now that we've wrapped up all those games, now let's pick our fantasy heroes and fantasy zeros. We'll start with the heroes as always. I'm going to start with you, Tony.
Come on,
Who's your
Tony.
first fantasy hero this week?
Well, it's not going to be Pat Mahomes, is it? He was terrible. There's nothing to say about that. But he had a couple games like that this season. Not really that big, not that many points, but I waited all freaking year. And now the league that I really don't care if I win or lose, he goes off. Thanks, Pat. Thank you, Patty. He's my hero, though. Patrick Mahomes.
All right, John, who's your hero this week?
Man, I got a guy that we dogged for 3/4 of the season. Called him Devin Single Carry because he sometimes would only get a single carry in the game. But that dude down the stretch and this last week got me 24.5 points. I will take that
Damn.
any day. 2 tutties, 80 yards, 3 receptions for 13 yards, all around good back. He looked fantastic. He looks
Yeah, he did.
it was a fantastic game. Definitely my hero this week.
Well, since you took Pat Mahomes, Tony, I'm going to take Josh Allen. Why? Because I had him all year. He was great. And then he goes into the playoffs and was even better. Beat the Patriots, the hated Patriots. 21 of 25, 308, 5 touchdowns, 6 carries for 66 yards. The man, it was just ridiculous. So I got to go Josh Allen. Love that guy.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, give me another hero.
I'm going to go Jamar Chase. And I think, he would he have like maybe 116 to 120 yards, somewhere around there. I think what's best about him is, again, being a rookie. This was a really, really important game for him, for the team, for Cincinnati. And he stepped up. He didn't make a bunch of mistakes. Of course, he's got a good quarterback throwing to him. But he just looked solid, calm, well put together. And so he's a hero, man. He's a hero for a lot of people.
Okay, good. John, who do you got?
Could go with Tom Brady because I had Tom Brady, played pretty well. But I'm going to go with his receiver instead. I'm going to go with Mikey Evans, 9 receptions, 117 yards, got a nice receiving touchdown there. He just looked fantastic all day. I mean, he is a true number 1 receiver. First to do 8 seasons, his first 8 seasons with 1,000 yards. That's amazing. I mean, if you think about that, first receiver to ever do that in his first 8 years, that's crazy talk. So yeah, Mike Evans, congratulations. Hero numero dos.
My hero is on the Chiefs. Everyone thought Darrell with 1L Williams was going to be the guy, and it turns out he was not the guy. As a matter of fact, he scored negative points because he got 1 carry and fumbled it. And the guy that picked up the pace was Jerick McKinnon. And McKinnon went nuts. 12 carries, 61 yards, and a touch. He had 6 catches for 81 yards and another touch. And if you played him in DFS, you got him super cheap and you're super happy. I don't think anyone had him in our league for the fantasy playoffs, but they do now because, of course, someone picked him up on the waiver wire and they stole him.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't you who picked him up.
And it wasn't
we
me.
established that this
No, it was not.
Yeah. And I'm upset about that, but
I bet you are.
I needed him.
We are all
Yeah, I
pretty
know,
sure
I know.
that did not happen.
Okay, we got to go on to the zeros. We'll start with you, Tony. Who's a 0?
Mr. Cedric Wilson. He was awesome this week. Just part of that team. What did that guy catch? I don't even know what he got. Like, I don't even know the points. I got like a couple points out of him. Was he even targeted? I mean, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. I understand he's still the third, wide receiver on that team, but man, those guys were awful. So Cedric Wilson sucks.
Cedric Wilson did have 5 for 62, so he got you 11 points.
He sucks.
Nothing spectacular.
No, I forgot he did have 60 yards, but he still sucked. I really thought I thought those guys were going to tee off.
You know who sucked? I got 2 guys back to back that I'm going to throw as my zeros because they're from the same team. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Both of y'all. Dak was 23 of 43 for 254, a touch and a pick, and the dumb run. And CeeDee Lamb, again, was CD Ghost. 1 catch for 21 yards. This is a concerning trend for CeeDee Lamb. That's 3 games in a row where Dak just wasn't even looking his way. He got 2 targets. Tony, John,
get it.
what the hell's going on with CeeDee Lamb?
I honestly think he must have slept with Dak's wife. That's the only thing I can think of because he is absolutely refusing to look his way. It's terrible. Terrible. And it's not like he's not open.
No, I know.
Open a lot.
I mean, he's still arguably the best weapon. He some people
Could
think
be.
Cooper's better. I don't. I think Lamb is incredible.
Yeah.
Why aren't they looking at him? What is wrong? Is it personal or not? I don't know. It's just weird.
Doesn't it feel like it though? Seriously, like can you
It
put?
does. That's what I said. I feel like something's going to come out in the off season. Like there was some kind of turmoil in that
Yeah.
clubhouse or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Something
weird.
happened.
Something
Something happened. All right, John, who you got a 0?
Oh, God, who? I'll tell you who. Sony Michel. He starts off first run, 35, almost 40 yards. Everybody's like, oh, Sony. And then Scam Akers comes out. I call him Scam Fakers because last week he looked terrible and nobody thought he was going to do anything. So I go, I'll trade you for Sony Michel, Chuck, because what bad could happen? Let me take Sony. He's going to be the starter. He was, and he ran about 5 times, was it? 6 maybe? For 58 yards, no touchdowns, 7 points.
And Akers booted Baker. He just steamrolled him. Poor
Yeah, he
guy.
did.
That was incredible.
Akers looked unbelievable. That guy should be back player of the year for getting an Achilles tear at the beginning of the year and playing again and looking like he did. That was phenomenal. I've had an Achilles surgery. I know what that is.
I call bullshit, Johnny. There's no way this guy tore his Achilles. No way.
Right?
Seriously, he's a modern miracle of science if he did.
Crazy.
Yeah, he is. And I'm also surprised how much they did use him. Okay, he's a hot hand, whatever. So he, gets a few.
But it wasn't like
few
Sony was
chances,
looking bad.
But that's what I mean. Sony's been
Yeah.
good. So why would you want to take the chances of
I would
having this guy
at least got
mixed it up a little more?
an equal share.
Absolutely. It was weird. But oh well. That's why we're not coaches. Whatever.
All right,
Yep.
Tony, who's your second zero?
Damian Harris. Cold game, tough defense. But the last time they played, it was a cold game, tough defense. And the Patriots running game was fantastic. This time they could not get off the ground. I didn't do my due diligence because I'm so pissed off. So I didn't even look at how bad the stats were on this guy. I know he had like 1 catch for 7 yards. If he's not even going to be able to run the ball, why aren't they throwing him the ball? Because, Matt couldn't do anything. They just didn't get that guy any help. So Damian Harris.
They got obliterated.
That was a shame. That was really a
Good kill.
shame.
Yeah.
All right, John, finish us off with your second zero.
I'm gonna go with the guy. You know what? Kickers. You got one job.
Wow.
You got one job. I got a kicker from Buffalo. The only player who didn't play well for Buffalo this week, Tyler Bass. 5 points. Couple of missed extra points there, by the way.
Mhm.
A for a kicker. Rough day. 5 points.
And he had a decent season, so that was kind of surprising.
Yeah, that's why I drafted him, because he had a decent season. I think I was the first one to take a kicker, and I wanted to take him because I thought they were going to go deep, and he was going to be really good.
That's great.
Tyler Bass.
We're bitching over a kicker. Right.
I
Now,
know.
next year playoff.
Hey, man.
Chuck, you're running it. We're going to set up no kickers. Or
No
that baloney.
kickers. And this is why Tyler Bass, like Johnny said, had one job, and it literally was one job: kick an extra point.
Extra points. Yes.
Buffalo scored all 7 drives, 7 touchdowns, and all you had to do is kick an extra point, and he missed, 2 or 3 of them?
Missed 2. Doinked a third one in.
Yeah, that's right. The other one doinked in, yeah. What are you going to do?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Divisional round playoff matchups.
Tell you what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do, Johnny. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about the next round of the playoffs. We got 4 games. Let's go over them real quick. Let's give our gut predictions on what's going to happen. And let's start with the Bengals at the Titans. Tennessee gets Derrick Henry back. Bengals coming off their nice win against the Raiders. John, what do you see happening?
Titans are going to win. It's at home. Titans have been just too tough. Coach of the year, Vrabel. I hate to say it because I love the Bengals. I love their story this year, but I think that the injuries on defense are just too much on that defensive line. I think the Titans go home.
Yeah, I agree.
Donnie, what do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. We discussed this a little earlier, and I hate doing it. I want my friends to all watch this video, and they're going to kill me once they hear it. But yeah, I don't see how they're going to be able to pull this off, especially with the injuries. I think the good news here is that they made it, past the first round, and you're going to be able to see the weaknesses, let alone injuries or not, this weekend. It's going to show up. You're going to see issues with the offensive line. You're going to see issues with the defensive line. I mean, they've given up the most sacks of any team. So that's what they're going to focus on. Watch out next year, boys. Watch out. Because
I agree with you.
They don't need to do shit with the offense. They don't need to do anything with scoring.
Shore up the offensive line. Yeah.
Absolutely. They are going to clean up for both those lines, and they are going to be tough next year.
Yeah, I think the Bengals were ahead of schedule this year. Got past where anybody, there's not one person who went, yep, Bengals are going to the playoffs and they're going to be the number 1 team in the NFC. Nobody said that. But they did, and they were great. And I think this is a building year, and I think next year they're even better. I'm early prediction Cincinnati Bengals win the Super Bowl next year.
Ooh.
Here first. You heard it here first.
I'll tell you what, in DFS, though, for this week, I think you want to play Joe Burrow. You want to play Jamar Chase. I think T. Higgins rebounds because they're going to be playing from behind, and Tennessee is very strong against the run and weak against the pass. So it's a good week to play your Bengals. but I do think you're right, John. I think Tennessee will prevail, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get into a shootout. That'd be fun.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, we're all hoping for that.
If they get into a shootout, I think they've got a chance. It's if Titans can run on them and ball control and do the shit that they do. That's when it
I think they're gonna. Yeah, I still think they're gonna ground and pound.
Yeah,
I really do.
Turns
What's
out
the weather going to be like there, Johnny? Isn't the weather going to be like mediocre? Like,
yeah, I don't think it's
possibly
bad. Stand by. So
I'm just curious, like 35, 40 degrees or something. I think they were calling for.
While John looks up the weather, let's begin to talk about the next game. The Green Bay Packers hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Should be a nice little game. This is on Saturday night. What do we think is going to happen here, Tony? I'll start with you. Do the Pack just dominate this game, or do you think the Niners got a shot?
I'm going with gut. I understand that the Niners are they're hot right now, like we were saying. They look pretty good. The defense is playing well. I have this feeling that the Packers are going to light them up. I think they're going to expose everything, and I think they're going to get down. They're going to get discouraged, and I think they're going to get destroyed. That's my gut.
John, what do you think?
I have this weird feeling that the 49ers are going to beat the Packers in Green Bay.
I love it. I hope.
I just do. Here's my thing. I don't think a team can start with so much turmoil and end in a Super Bowl victory. I just don't. I think that weighs on people. I think it just builds up and builds up. I think San Francisco started bad and they've gotten better as the year goes on. I think Green Bay is a little complacent toward the end of the year. I think San Francisco sneaks in there and they beat them in a very close game. Two good defenses. I don't think that the offenses get going that much, but I think that Green Bay wins. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold in Green Bay this weekend.
I hope, though. I do hope.
Of course it's going to be cold. But like you said, the 49ers are more built to play in Green Bay than Green Bay is.
Yep.
Also, Green Bay's they haven't played in a meaningful game in a couple weeks now. Whereas the Niners have been fighting each week to get by. They had to win week 18.
That's a good point.
So they're battle tested, and this week they win, and here we go again. I think they're going to punch Green Bay in the mouth early, get ahead, and it's going to be similar to what they did this week to Dallas. I think they're going to make Green Bay play from behind, and we'll see if Rodgers can do it, or is he checked out and ready to move on to Denver.
Yeah. Hey Tony, Tennessee, 38 degrees and sunny on Saturday. So,
Okay.
Not too bad.
Not bad.
yeah, not bad. It's good.
All right, let's talk about the Rams. They're the ones playing the Bucs this week in Tampa Bay. I think this is where the Rams season comes to an end. I think the Bucs just a better team overall, especially on the defensive end, and that's my gut. What do you think, John?
I think the Rams win.
Oh, wow.
I think the Rams win.
That's it, huh? You just think the Rams are going to win?
I don't know why. I just do. I think I don't know. Tampa has not impressed me this year like they did last year toward the end of the season. They let down a couple of times. I thought they looked fine against Philadelphia, but I don't think that was a good game to get tuned up on because everybody teed off on Philadelphia. They didn't have a good win against a quality opponent in the last 6 games. So I really like what the Rams did last week. And let's face it, what's his face has Mike Evans' number. Who is I think Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey.
I think he's going to shut him down a little bit. I hope not. I mean, I got Tom on and Evans on my fantasy team, so I'm hoping they go off. But I just got this weird, cringy feeling about that game.
Playoff Lenny's back. Leonard Fournette most likely will be playing this week, and I think that's an added weapon. And he's someone that Brady relies on and trusts, and I could see him coming out and having a good game. But I do think Mike Evans is going to have a tough game. But that means Brady will go to Gronk, or he'll go to Rashad Perryman or something else. Brady's going to find a way. So.
He always does. But yeah, I feel kind of the same way about both teams. This game, I'm really, I'm wishy-washy on. There has just been some games throughout the season where I just looked at the Rams and I was like, what? What are you guys doing? And I kind of feel like you do this to any quarterback, it's going to happen. But sometimes you get that pressure on Stafford and he throws some picks. They looked good the other day. but I don't trust. I hate to say this, I don't trust either team. I trust Brady, but I just feel like it can go either way. So I can't make them.
I don't trust Matt Stafford. I don't trust him. I think he's gonna throw some picks. Bucks defense is gonna light him up a little bit. Cooper Kupp will probably still be Cooper Kupp, but they're gonna take Beckham away and take away all the other. And the one thing you don't do on the Bucks is you don't run the ball on the Bucks, and that's where the Rams, played really well last week with Cam Akers and with Sonny Michel. They're not gonna be able to do that this week. It's all on Matt Stafford, and I just don't trust him.
Yeah. We'll
John's
see. It's
laughing.
going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game.
It's going to be a great game. And honestly, I could have gone either way because I mean, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady, for God's sake.
I know, it is.
It's Tom Brady. I think I'm just being a contrarian just to be one. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to be surprised either way. I do have a feeling about the Rams, though. I do. I really do have a weird feeling about them. I watched them yesterday, and I went, that might be the team of destiny right there.
We'll see.
I mean, he might be the chosen one this year. There's always that quarterback who ends up winning the Super Bowl, who hasn't won in forever, and the whole, see Rich Gannon, see the guys like that, and maybe he's the guy.
That'd be cool in LA. That'd be real cool. But I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the game of the week. This is going to be fun. Josh Allen and the Bills go to Kansas City to play Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Oh, they do go to Kansas City? I thought it was in Buffalo.
No, it's
Oh,
in
good
Kansas
for them.
City.
It is in Kansas City. You're right.
Yeah. So, what do we think of this game? I'm going to start with you, Tony. What's your gut?
Like I said before, okay. Oh, man. The playoffs are so hard to decide on. If a team is going to score on the Chiefs early, the Bills are the team to do it. And they're well-rounded enough that if they put up 14 points quick, I don't think Mahomes is going to have it in him to come back. And if he does, he's still going to be a touchdown away. So I kind of want Kansas City to win, even though they've been up there the past couple of years, just because I love watching Mahomes. But I think the Bills are gonna take this.
I'm with you. I think the Chiefs, all year we've been like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? They haven't quite been right. And just when they seem to get it going, they always have come up with that dud game. This could be the game. This could be the end. Buffalo's good, man. And if you mess around with Buffalo, you'll find yourself down big. Go ahead, John. Say what you're going to say.
Buffalo Bills win. Buffalo Bills win. Buffalo Bills win.
All three of us think Buffalo could win this game. That's ballsy. Yeah. We'll see. It should be a good game. Now, fantasy-wise, who are we looking at in this game? Who do we think's going to have
everybody? Everybody. I mean, who are you not playing in this game? For God's sake.
Darrell Williams?
Sanders. Yeah, Darrell Williams. All right, that's a good one to not play. But
maybe Cole Beasley.
Maybe, but I mean, in these playoff games, you might have to play Cole Beasley, and it might pay off for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kelsey's going to have a good game. I don't know how many touchdowns.
Buffalo's tough against the tight end, Tony.
Yeah, I know they are, and that's why I think that I don't know. I have a feeling that's kind of what they've done most of the season, and I think that they're going to be too scared with Mahomes back there throwing to Hill and stuff that they're going to end up leaving Kelsey open a little bit. I don't know why. I just think that Kelsey's going to actually surprise them, but that's not the route they need to go. I don't think Kelsey's going to be enough. So,
you know what I think? So here's why I think Buffalo's going to win this game. Buffalo plays up to their competition, and I think Kansas City, most of their big wins have come against teams that they should have won against big, right? But you look at Tennessee beats them, Buffalo beats them.
Cincinnati beats them.
Cincinnati beats them. It's the good teams have been beating them, and I think Buffalo goes in there. And I'm not even sure it's going to be close. Like if Buffalo plays like Buffalo played last week, Buffalo kicks their ass.
It's going to be like the Super Bowl last year.
Wow.
It's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
That was a complete destruction of the offensive line of the Chiefs. Yeah, that was a railroading. I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but I don't know if it'll
be that bad, no. But
I would like to see it go down to the wire. That'd be fun. It's going to be a fun game. It's a good way to cap off the weekend, man. Let me tell you.
Mhm.
All right.
Burning questions.
So I got some burning questions for you guys this week. We got 2 of them. This how we're going to wrap up the show with some thought-provoking questions, as always.
Boom.
Or maybe they're not. Maybe I'm full of shit and they're stupid questions, but we're going to talk about them anyways. Let's start with you, John. I have this burning question in Pittsburgh. Big Ben has all but said he's going to retire. Pittsburgh has said they're moving on. It's going to be exciting to see what they do at quarterback. But I want to know, what are they going to do at quarterback? Are they going to get a veteran quarterback? Are they going to get a guy like Russell Wilson? Or are they going to get a guy in the draft? What do we think, John?
I don't think the quarterback of the future is not on that team for sure, right? I mean, it's not going to be Haskins. It's not going to be any of the jack wagons. It's not Dodd, or I can't even remember who the backup is. The guy played for
Dude
him.
with dark hair that got beat up by
Yeah,
the Browns.
Never going to be anything. I think they're going to go get a veteran because there's not really that many great draft picks this year in the quarterback class. I don't think the quarterback class is big. The only person I could see is if they went out and got the guy from Pitt to play in Pittsburgh. That could be kind of a cool story. So, if they decide to go that route, I would see them maybe going with that because that kid's a hometown kid and really good. So maybe that's the way they go. So, but their quarterback of the future is not on that team right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a veteran. I think they're going to make a trade. And now, saying that, who do we think they're going to get, Tony? Like, of those veteran quarterbacks that are available, what's your gut tell you?
I don't know.
Dalton. What? Andy?
Oh God, Fitz magic. I don't see them doing something like a Dalton or Fitz magic. Not with Tomlin, not with Pittsburgh. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna settle for mediocre season while they wait to draft somebody. I think you're right. They're probably gonna trade. I don't know, but it's not too far-fetched to think something like Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson could possibly pop through there.
I don't think Russell Wilson will want to go to Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson's going to want to go someplace where his wife can still be big time, like
an Instagram model.
Angeles,
You're probably right. You're probably right.
I don't think he's the Pittsburgh guy.
But what do you guys think? Who's there then? Do you trade up and try and get one of those top 3 quarterbacks in the draft?
No, I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I have this sneaking suspicion that Green Bay is going to implode in the playoffs again, not make it to the Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers is going to continue with his demand for the trade. And I think Pittsburgh is the perfect spot for him. They got 2 young, good receivers, Deontay Johnson and Claypool, that for sure that Rodgers can utilize. Now, Big Ben, he's got Freiermuth. He's also got Juju. And I make fun of Juju for catching 2-yard passes. But you give him Aaron Rodgers, that's a whole different scenario. Now he's catching balls a little bit further down the field, and he's a weapon. They're set up to win now. They have a good defense.
Harris.
Great coach, a great running back.
But Denver meets all that stuff too, and it's got him closer to where he wants to live. And he's actually said he wants to go to Denver.
But Denver, they don't have the weapons.
They've got. Are you kidding me? They've got 2 great receivers. They've got running back.
They do not have 2 great receivers.
Fantastic.
They have 2 mediocre receivers. They have
They have 2 great receivers who had shitty quarterbacks.
You could argue that, yeah.
Portland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy.
Remarkable.
Those guys are the real deal. And then they've got the Patrick as well. They've got 3 good. I would put those 3 receivers against Pittsburgh's 3 receivers with a right quarterback, with a Aaron Rodgers, and then they've got the Deontay Williams is the running back with maybe Gordon they bring back. I hope not, but and that defense is fantastic. I would think he goes to Denver.
But if you were Aaron Rodgers, wouldn't you rather play for Tomlin though?
That's it. That's what I'm saying. The
awesome.
coaching is good in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a rich history of winning. They haven't had a losing season in I don't know how many years. Rodgers just walks in there and they're a Super Bowl contender.
Not in Tomlin's 14 years, that's for sure.
But I don't know if he walks into Denver if you can say they're a Super Bowl contender right away. I just don't know. Pittsburgh, I say yes. I don't know. That's just my feeling.
My God, I would love to have.
Yeah, Denver does have some weapons.
Obviously, I'm downplaying their weaponry. they got good weapons. I like Pittsburgh's situation a little better. That's all. Anyway,
I will agree.
okay. So now we had 7 teams from each conference make the playoffs. There are multiple teams that didn't make the playoffs this year. I want to know, of those teams that didn't make the playoffs, which teams do you think rebound next year and make the playoffs? And for fantasy purposes, which teams do you think are like an offensive juggernaut that we can look to draft many players from next year? I'll start with you, John. I'll let you start it off. What are you thinking?
I think the Browns make the playoffs next year. And I think the Steelers make the playoffs next year. I actually think the AFC North is going to put 3 teams in the playoffs: Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. And I don't think the Ravens make it, by the way. A team that I think that there's going to be a bunch of people from, depending on the quarterback, Steelers. I mean, God, we were so excited about the Steelers receivers this year, right? But with Big Ben, just didn't happen. Najee looked good at times. He looked bad at times, but he looked good at times. Great rookie season. I love the Steelers next year if they get a real quarterback.
I could see that. Tony, what playoff team or non-playoff team from this year do you think will make the playoffs next year?
God damn, I don't like any of the teams. I really don't. I'm definitely going San Diego. I think they're going to clean up their mess, and I think they're going to be a much better team.
I was going to say the Chargers. Yeah.
I'm just shocked that they just blew a couple games that were just no-brainers that they should have won. And I think they'll get their act together by next year, and they'll definitely make the playoffs.
And they blew a game that they should have tied.
Oh, of course.
Also, offensively, they're in Los Angeles, by the way, Tony. They moved there a few years ago.
I always say San Diego, dude. I just cannot stop.
You might have heard of it. They made a move. Yeah.
They've been in my hometown for like 5 years now. I don't even know.
You could also make an argument for Denver. Again, if they get the right quarterback, they've got the tools, they've got the weapons.
What do you guys think about Miami? What's going on down there? What's going to happen?
I want to see who the coach is going to be because they had a good coach and they evacuated that position, which prematurely, I thought. And now I want to see who they get in there. They do have a good defense and they've got a running game now. And, we'll see. They got Jalen Waddle, not too bad. But they need a coach.
Yeah, they do. And can I ask you guys a question real quick on your opinion? Johnny brought up the Browns. We have had this question now. This is, to me, pretty much the 3rd season in a row when it comes down to Baker Mayfield. Now, if Baker is 100% healthy, do we jump back on that? Because in my opinion, he's kind of a loser. And what I mean by that is from his attitude to his hero standpoint. When is he ever really a hero? When you need him to get that big play, to complete that big pass, it's very seldom. I'm not saying that they don't have the talent, especially if they use Chubb the way they're supposed to, use the running game the way they're supposed to. But how much faith do you guys have in Baker Mayfield being a playoff quarterback next season? That's what I'm worried about.
I will say this: Baker is an every other year player. Look at his record. Look at how he plays every other year. He plays to get his team to the playoffs, and I think he'll be repaired. He needs to get his wife to shut up, because she's going to make him the most hated man in Cleveland if she doesn't shut up. But if he comes back with a better attitude, I think Stefanski gets that team right. I think they run the ball way better than they did, and I think they make it back to the playoffs. I don't know that Baker has to be a hero with that team if they do it right, but I think he'll play better. I do think he had the shit beat out of him this year.
He did. I'll give him that.
Apologist at all. I don't actually care for him very much, but I actually do think he's got some qualities that make him, when he's on, pretty good leader. He's tough. He's gritty. That guy doesn't quit. I mean, look at what he played through this year. There's not many players that would have played through a torn labrum like that guy did for the season, especially for a team that wasn't going to the playoffs towards the end of the season. So
fair.
I think he's tough. And as much as I don't care for him, I think they're back in the playoffs next year. I think they're a tough team.
Okay.
There's one other team that I thought was going to make the playoffs this year, and they didn't. but I definitely think they will next year. And you'll disagree with me, John. That's the Baltimore Ravens. I think they were ravaged with injuries this year. I mean, just ridiculous amounts, especially the running back position, their corners. I mean, something was in the grass there. I don't know what's going on, but healthy, they're a good team. They're well coached. They, even though, Lamar let you down and maybe a little Hollywood let you down, little Hollywood, Florida, I still think they got a lot of weapons there, and they're a good team, man. They'll be back.
I just think that division is maybe the toughest division in football right now.
It is.
It is tough.
I mean, if the Steelers get a good quarterback, if the Browns get back a healthy Baker Mayfield, you've got a Lamar Jackson who's healthy and a Joe Burrow who's lighting the league up. My God. I mean, who wants anybody from that division?
You're not going to want to play any of those teams.
No.
I will say, though, I think Harbaugh was really odd this year. He's still a hell of a coach. But, some of these, 2-point conversion crap and stuff was a little weird. It was a little weird, maybe a little arrogant. I don't know. Maybe he just said, fuck it, we're beat up. Let's just go for it this year, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also, I'm losing a lot of faith in Hollywood. I watched many games this year where he dropped some easy key passes, and we all, you know that. Yeah,
Yep.
And that was I'm no longer sold on that guy. He's been around a while now, so I just don't. That's not going to keep me from, or it's not going to keep them from going to the playoffs. But I think they need to grab another wide receiver, something. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Fantasy Sports Island. Another good show.
Yeah.
Thank you to Johnny Ballgame.
Thank you. Thanks, Chuck.
Got it. Thank you, Sir Poops a lot.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to check out Tony on his other YouTube channel, Donuts and Beer, if you want to talk about music. And it's a very funny show. You guys should check that out on YouTube, Donuts and Beer. I am the Fantasy Reaper, and we want to make sure that you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment on the videos, comment on any topics you'd like us to discuss. Put them in there. We'd like to hear it. We're up for anything. Join us in 2 weeks. We're going to be back in 2 weeks, and we're going to talk about our fantasy awards for the season. Who are our MVPs, comeback player of the year, rookie of the year, all that good stuff. We're going to do that on an award show in a couple weeks. We'll be back. So hit that notification bell so that it lets you know when we post that video. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. And aloha. Enjoy the games this weekend.
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching, you bloody bastards. Tune in for another episode of FSI as we unveil our fantasy season awards in 2 weeks.